In this episode of the Denoise podcast, we're going to break down the creator economy and take a dive into MrBeast's business.
YouTube creators holding their own upfront event.
And Netflix dips its toe in podcasting with a Kill Tony special. Let's get into it. Welcome back, Addy.
Hey, thanks, man.
Welcome back to to our own podcast.
Best part of my week. Love to do it.
So this one, I think it's a good time to kind of take a dive into something a little bit different that we haven't talked about much, the creator economy, which I feel like more and more is becoming less of its own separate bucket and overlapping more and more with Hollywood and traditional media and what we think of that. And they're both kind of converging, and I think it's good to kind of talk about it, especially because there's been a couple stories that have been popping up on my radar, and I want to dig into them.
Let's do it.
So the first one that's been circulating a bit is a couple stories that came out about MrBeast, and he is fundraising to raise, from this article, The Verge, he's raising about $200 million in a funding round, which, if successful, would value his company at more than $5 billion.
Wow.
Both huge, but then also a lot of attention came to the fact that basically his videos don't make any money, and all of his money is being made off Feastables, his chocolate bar.
What a brilliant move. I mean, did you know that he has a whole studio complex in North Carolina?
He built it himself, yeah. He built it in his hometown, these massive stages.
So all that stuff, all those employees, all that infrastructure is just to brand some kind of consumer goods.
I mean, that's the play, and that's been the play for a lot of different creators. And let's see, he's raised over $450 million in the past 4 years. He just had the Beast Games, the show that he produced for Amazon, which the original budget, I believe, was $100 million. But I believe he surpassed that because he's also been saying that he lost money on producing the Beast Games because he doubled the prize money at the last second. Just did a bunch of stuff.
Can't just give away $1 million every time.
I mean, well, he tried to. So it's kind of coming, people are just like, oh, wait, this guy's making these huge, massive videos, and the videos don't make money, and he's making money off of chocolate bars. This doesn't feel like anything new to me if you've sort of been paying attention to what he's been doing. Because first off, his videos, in one of the reports, each video, it was reported costs about, YouTube videos cost about $3 to $4 million.
That's correct.
Which is a crazy number for a YouTube video.
Yeah.
But he realized, and I've kind of tracked him for a while, even going back to his earlier interviews with Colin Samir and talking about his early process, he realized early on that the YouTube game and success and sort of unlocking the algorithm for him was more money, bigger, put it all back into the videos, gets more attention. I think even one of his very first videos where he kind of cracked this was he had a sponsor deal for, I think it was maybe $5,000.
Yeah.
And he was double it. And I'm going to give it to a homeless person, and trust me, it's going to do way better than $5,000. And so he gave $10,000 to someone off the street and kind of recorded the reaction. And that was sort of his big initial sponsor video that did really well.
Yeah.
And he realized basically just taking all the money you make and reinvesting it into making the next video bigger and better was the fuel that fueled his success. Now the numbers are just getting crazy high.
It's crazy. I mean, the stakes are so high. So one of the stories that he told on one of the podcasts that I listened to was the idea for how he came up with Feastables, the chocolate. So I think either Hershey or Mars or one of those big chocolate companies came to him for ad placement in one of his videos, and then he was charging them $1 or $2 million, and then he realized that his videos get 1 billion views, no problem, right? And he's like, well, actually, they're making money from me because I think the inherent value is probably $50 million in sales or whatever, and they're only paying $5 million. So he's like, why don't I just own my own chocolate company and capitalize on that difference?
Yeah, he has the audience and attention. He's driving all of this traffic and revenue to another company.
Yeah.
And not making any more off the $1 million or $2 million that he makes that he sells to them.
Yeah, and then the other thing that he mentioned was just how difficult it was to create a chocolate company amidst the monopoly of Cadbury, M&M, and the Hershey company.
Yeah, that's a very broad, high-level commodity. It's not something it's a creator course or something that's a lot more niche.
There's big pharma, there is big chocolate.
Big chocolate, yeah. And I feel like that's sort of what happens with a lot of creators is they build up their channel, they build up the audience, they build up the newsletter, whatever they have, and they're selling ads to other companies and driving revenue to them. And then it's well, wait a minute, why don't I just drive the same traffic to my product and build out the product myself? So yeah, I mean, this has been the playbook. What are some of the other creators that we've seen that have kind of
we have to talk about the Prime Energy drink and Logan Paul, Jake Paul, KSI. Prime has been so successful in pushing into Gatorade territory, mainstream America drink category. And that's, I mean, you talk about there was so much beef between KSI and Paul, and they just realized, wait a minute, we're both really famous. Why don't we just shake hands and make money together? And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I mean, Prime is everywhere. And I mean, I think I'd seen Prime before I even realized that it was like the Paul brothers. And
the other
KSI
thing
were behind
MrBeast has is Beast Burgers.
that was kind of short-lived. That was...
I think it's still around. It's like a ghost kitchen setup.
It was a ghost kitchen setup. I think he killed it because it was a ghost kitchen. Quality control was like, he couldn't do it because they're basically just sending out packages to other service providers, and there's no consistency. And the burger, I think people were posting, like raw burger patties that they were getting.
Yep.
I think he did kill that because he went with Feastables because I think it was more profitable. And he controls the whole thing.
I mean, when you sell to Walmart, imagine the volume of chocolate you're selling.
Yeah. The other thing you do was a Lunchables competitor, Lunchly. That was another one that he launched, and that was also with Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's right.
Another food product that you can control.
Clearly, his demographic is the middle school students.
Yeah, I mean, his target audience. Yeah. I haven't had Lunchly. I've had the chocolate bars.
Yeah, what do you think? Yeah, so those chocolate beans are sourced from Peru.
Oh, like good sourcing?
Yeah.
I wonder what the chocolate amount is, because like also with Hershey's, it's like you're buying a little bit of chocolate and a bunch of sugar and filler. But I know he's talked about trying to have better ingredients and a better quality bar.
I think he also supports like sustainable farming in chocolate, which is obviously a big deal. Chocolate farmers are under horrible conditions sometimes, compared to slavery. And MrBeast is all about charity. He has Beast Charities, which is a separate arm of the company. So it feels like a lot of the good positive energy is there as far as him being frontman for a $5 billion business.
Anyone that gets that popular gets like hate for sometimes no reason, or like even when he got hate for the videos of helping vision, where he restored vision, or I forgot the specific medical condition, but when he paid for the surgeries for like 1,000 people to restore their eyesight.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And he
got hate for that.
Yeah, and I was like, really? I mean,
yeah, if you pay attention to a lot of his podcasts, the guy doesn't really care about money.
No, because he just
crazy.
Takes it all and then puts it all back into the videos.
He's not flying, like private jets and driving luxury cars. Like he's not that type, and he's in his 20s.
Yeah, he's still in his 20s, yeah.
And he has a very charitable side to him, which is really cool.
Yeah. With some other creators that have branched out too, Emma Chamberlain was one that she started selling coffee beans. And then there's a Chamberlain coffee store at the Century City Mall.
Oh, did you go? That's by your house.
I've seen it. The line to that thing is bananas.
Is it like viral coffee?
I don't even know what. So, I mean, I looked at the menu and it had some kind of cutesy drinks and stuff. And I've bought her coffee at...
Yeah.
It's going to sound the most LA thing. I've bought her coffee at Erewhon before.
God, we're done with this episode. That's awesome. You're so West Side. What were you doing at Erewhon, Joey? We're just humble podcast hosts. We don't have that kind I
don't defend Erewhon. It's a cool place.
The food is really good. The hotline?
They have a good hot bar.
Yeah.
They have really good pizza too.
Oh, yeah?
The pizza's not crazy expensive.
Dude, they have this bulgogi barbecue burrito thing.
I haven't had that. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to try that. Good. They also sell interesting things that you don't find elsewhere, like Emma Chamberlain coffee, which I did buy the beans a while ago, and it was good. But yeah, this coffee shop, I think, is the first kind of standalone coffee shop from a creator. Emma Chamberlain she doesn't do videos, I think, anymore, but she was like kind of one of the earlier fashion vloggers. And it's just crazy to even without her doing a bunch of videos, this coffee shop pops up. I had first seen it on TikTok, and people were like, the lines are crazy. And then I was there, I think maybe a month after the thing opened, and the line was still crazy.
Wow.
And it was one of those Disney effects where you see the coffee shop and then you see the line coming out of it. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of a long line. I don't know. And then you go around the side and then you realize that the line goes to another spot and starts zigzagging behind the store. And it was one of those secret extra long lines.
That's crazy.
So just the still virality and power of people wanting this coffee from an influencer. Crazy.
Yeah. And I just recently read an article somewhere that studios and brands are just allocating influencer dollars now. It's a separate budget category.
Yeah. I mean, they put aside money for definitely UGC, YouTube generated content. I feel like that's it gets conflated, but I feel like it's kind of two separate things. Is if you're paying money for MrBeast, you're paying money for a Logan Paul, like you're paying because like they have the brand, they have the like power and the influence.
Yeah.
And then the separate kind of UGC stuff where it sometimes feels like a volume thing for brands where it's like we just want people on TikTok or on these short form apps to like talk about our product.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not necessarily
Engagement.
because they have
Yeah.
like a big following. It's just because we like want the more people that talk about it and like
Hashtags
spreads out about there, and then we can put money behind and promote the video, but it looks organic, the better it is, especially for like a direct to consumer kind of product.
And we talked about it on a couple of podcast episodes ago. They even have the power to make or break companies, like with MQBHD and Fisker.
Yeah.
And MQBHD and Samsung and like a lot. Like he has so much power to say product is good or bad.
Right. I mean, you know, in his defense, he was like, you put the product out, like you ship this to people are paying money for it. It's not it wasn't like a private preview or something that wasn't publicly available. It's like,
as a car guy, I agreed with him. I didn't think the Fisker product was all that great.
yeah, I think if you put the product out and you're charging people money for it, it's fair game.
Fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he also had a deal recently with Ridge Wallet where he partnered up, and I think partly as an advisor and partly to help them develop products. And I think they just did launch a new wallet with like his sort of like branding style.
Yeah.
And he's been selling products for a while. He's got the keyboard
he's got
accessories.
the wallpaper app that took some heat.
Yeah, he had that. But before that,
It's very Air One, isn't
it? He came out and said like, this app is for like a very tiny, tiny portion of people who like care about wallpapers on their phone.
Are willing to pay $100 for it or whatever.
Yeah. But even before that, there's a scented candle.
He had a scented candle.
He had a scented candle. Yeah.
See, like these guys are so smart, and girls, they make or sponsor products that are just everyday consumables. Coffee, chocolate,
Yeah, and it ties
candles.
into, usually it should tie into their brand.
Like if it was you and me, I think we would sponsor like some cinematic lens that only 10 people in the world buy, you know?
The Denoise Diesel lens. Diesel, hit us up.
Yeah, seriously.
I remember at NAB last year, there were a couple products that launched that were made with creator partnerships, like Potato Jet did a tripod with...
I know Potato Jet through his brother.
I don't know he had a brother.
Yeah, he was the
Potato?
editor for Space Rider.
Oh, okay, cool.
Amazing guy, amazing family. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. He's got great content.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone who was in the creator space.
Potato Jet tripod.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And there was another kind of filmmaker-centric YouTube creator did some stuff with Condor Blue.
Okay.
Set up your name. They've done a variety of partnerships with creators of like for camera-specific products. Like, we'll help you develop this product that, is solves a problem and you're behind it as a creator. And
let's do some wishful thinking. If we were to go out there and figure out a product for us, what would it be for you? Don't say wallpaper.
No, not wallpaper. I'm always like trying to deal with cables and stuff. It'd probably be like some right angle smarter cable that keeps things more streamlined on camera setups.
I would create some like style filters, AI style filters that are just really out there.
How out there?
Like
an AI LUT kind of thing. Like
we talked about the Midjourney style code stuff.
Yeah,
like I would have 10 or 15 proprietary style codes that are the Addy style codes. And just kind of push them.
How would those not get ripped off like in 2 seconds?
Yeah, but
see, the cool thing about the hardware is it's kind of defensible a bit. Okay. I mean, at least it takes like knowledge. Like I offhand, like right now, like I wouldn't really know how to like make a product. I don't know, go to Alibaba, but like I wouldn't know offhand how to like if I wanted to develop an original like product or cable or something. I wouldn't know, but that's kind of the cool thing with like these established companies was like, oh, we know the manufacturers, we know the process to make the thing, but like, what's your idea? We'll like work in conjunction with you. Makes sense.
Yeah.
The one thing that out of all this whole kind of talk with creators and making money on videos versus making money on products, the question that raises for me is this the only way to be like a sustainable creator if you're kind of going out independently and you are your own production media house? Pretty much like it kind of keeps going back to like the only way for these creators to survive is they have to have a separate product line. And diversifying is never bad, but is there a reality where they can make the videos and just live off the money for the videos?
Well, no, because as you know, you're on YouTube, you're a YouTuber. The YouTube game is a bell curve. So, you will very soon hit 100,000, 1 million subscribers, 10 million, whatever. And then that subscribership will slowly wane over time and next generation of YouTubers will take your audience. So what do you do during that bell curve, during that peak? You diversify your revenue and you do it before your time runs out. So I think that's what a lot of these creators are doing.
I know it makes sense, but it's like, if you were to separate from YouTube or maybe reach a level where you start producing stuff for like an Amazon or a Netflix, and you're a production company and you just get a bigger platform and you're not solely dependent on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like if someone has made that leap or if there's something that is, I'm trying to think of creators where they have sustainable models and that doesn't involve.
Yeah, I'll give you a name of a couple of incredible YouTubers that have never dived into the world of consumer goods and products. Casey Neistat, right? He's like a bona fide filmmaker. He could probably win an Academy Award if he wanted to, right? Like he's got a very artistic eye. Gox from France, another filmmaker, GAWX. Gox. Okay. He's huge. He makes a lot of videos that are just beautifully cinematic, and somebody like that, I don't see them. They're such an artist that they can't turn over and then sell consumer goods.
Right. Artistry for one thing, but also just like if you start expanding, start making products, it kind of becomes a distraction from like making the videos and making the stuff that you were doing in the first place.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot of these creators partner with other companies that, are basically like, we'll handle the actual production stuff. We like handle all of that. You just keep making your thing and we like split the profits or whatever.
Sometimes they just do stuff because it's cool. Like a good example is Mr. Who's the Boss, who just bought a View 1 system.
Oh, yeah.
And he paid for it. And then he went on and had a whole video about it. And View didn't sponsor any of it. But it was because he's just really into tech. And let's face it, View 1 system is an amazing piece of tech for somebody like that.
Yeah, and I think it was, smart on them where it's like, okay, we got a whole package thing where it's like you can buy the package and with the wall, with the server set up, with their software that makes it easy to load up backgrounds and stuff.
AI backgrounds.
Yeah. I wonder how much this whole space was because he like really decked out the whole.
He's like MKBHD level tech YouTuber, right? Like he's in the millions of followers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the guy's got money, I'm sure.
Yeah. Curious where these models go. But speaking of these models, and maybe this is the answer and the solution to what we're just talking about. Second story, this just came out in Hollywood Reporter. Colin and Samir, big YouTube creators who kind of make content focused on the creator economy, are holding their own upfront event focused on creators.
That's so crazy.
With Spotter Studio, or it's called Spotter Showcase.
They're building the road as they go, which is so innovative and so
they've been carving out this like both showing that it's possible to be like a media company in the creator space, and then focused on the creator economy and dissecting what other creators are doing and how they're being able to financially be
how they can optimize the sponsorships and dollars, and that's what Upfronts is, right?
Yeah. So what people are not familiar with Upfronts? What are Upfronts?
So it typically happens in New York every year. It's where all the big advertiser agencies, brands come together, and it's sort of like New York Fashion Week, but for advertising. It's like the where to be seen and be seen. Sounds like Colin Samir said, whatever's happening with the establishment, let them be. We're just going to do our own thing over here.
And it's usually like the TV studio or all the networks are like, hey, here's our slate. Here's what's coming up for the year that you could buy ads on. Like, here's what we're going to make. And if you're interested, like, it's where they sell their, I don't know what percentage, but where they sell like their advertising for their future slate.
When I was with Verizon, we did a live activation with our Unreal Engine powered animated character at Upfronts. It was well received, but brands will go to that length to impress clients and stuff.
Did it bring in ad dollars?
Yes.
So what they're doing is something similar, but they're doing it with content creators, YouTube creators. Yeah. And this is interesting too, because it's both showing like much more of an established, mature network for YouTube creators. Because basically the creators have to come and pitch to advertisers and be like, hey, here's our programming slate for like the next 6 months or for the year.
Crazy.
We know we're going to make these videos. Yeah. And you can get in on being the sponsor for these videos. But like you have to have the foresight and planning. Yeah. And these operations are getting sophisticated enough.
And the staff and just the sort of predictor.
Yeah. And once you get to advertising these levels, like, well, you also like you have to deliver on that.
Yeah, 100%. If you're going to take $10 million from Nestle, you better come through. Yeah. Right. The other cool thing here is a lot of attention hours are now diverted to creators versus traditional content. And so, we only have 24 hours in the day. You and I will maybe consume a few hours of content over the course of the day. The question is, what percentage of that is going to a creator versus a traditional studio streamer or whatnot? And it feels like more and more of our attention hours are now on the creator side. And brands know this, they see the data. And so that's where the dollars are being funneled out of Hollywood into the hands of creators.
Yeah. And I mean, traditional streaming, as I say, Netflix, which is now getting grouped into traditional. But yeah, they're realizing this too, because even YouTube is rising in its consumption on TV. And it's not like just, oh, let me watch it on my mobile phone anymore. In data that came out last December, YouTube accounted for 11.1% of TV streaming, surpassing Netflix, which came in at 8.5%. So like the number one most popular streaming app is YouTube.
100%.
It's crazy.
I mean, I consume YouTube more than any other platform. And linear TV.
On your TV? Where do you watch YouTube?
On my TV.
On your TV, yeah.
Yeah. On a very fancy OLED TV that's meant for cinema, I'm watching YouTube videos.
But also this goes to show like a lot of the creators are also upping up the production value. I mean, they're like traditional-ish TV shows, but they make it in a way 100%. That is a different system and they could do it faster, cheaper, quicker.
Yeah, like if you look at Johnny Harris video, do you know who that is? I mean, his videos are as polished, if not more polished, than like a National Geographic episode.
The map guy.
Yeah. He does.
He makes great videos, and his stuff is the animation, the quality. And I was watching one of his on the TV the other day. I watched the video, which I think we'll talk about in a future episode, on Kodak from Team 2 Films.
Oh, and I love that video.
Kodak exploration of shooting on film. Yeah, I watched that on my TV.
And you could see the film grain. And
it was a great way to watch it too. Yeah,
exactly.
Because they like took a lot of time to shoot on a bunch of film stocks, and it was good to watch it on a TV. Yeah, so the Upfront event, it's going to feature MrBeast, Dude Perfect, Ryan Trahan, and then a bunch of other creators. It doesn't mention one here, but one person that also stood out to me as someone who's like planned out their content a lot is Michelle Carre, who does Challenge Accepted. Definitely feels like
I've seen some of that
network level quality show. She did a great one where she was training for a boxing match, and it was like a mini documentary, like easily could have been on broadcast TV.
Would you say
super high quality?
These creators are so sophisticated in their operations that their production quality, their staff, and their business operation is already at like a Netflix level before Netflix approaches them?
Yeah, and I think she and her husband, who's also a producer, they did an interview on one of the editing podcasts, and one thing that stood out was like they already do something similar to this Upfronts, where it's like they already know, because their videos, it involves like a lot of training, a lot of prep. She does a lot of stuff with like, I was a Secret Service agent, so it's like she has to get permission from the Secret Service and plan this whole thing out. So all of her videos, she only does like one a month. Yeah, but they're a lot of high production, and they know what it is the slate is for the year. So they go to advertisers and are like, we know we're going to do this this year. Do you want to get on board with this?
Oh, that's so cool.
But she also said that they had been approached in the past from like more traditional networks or production companies, like, hey, we can take this format and, pitch it as a TV series. Yeah. But she was like, they want, like, she does a lot of training and a lot of work and to make the videos authentic. And they're like, well, we need to shoot, 12 episodes in like a month. And she's like, I don't do that.
I can't do that.
And also, they're just like way more heavier on the production aspect of, just more crew, more cameras, and like, her team,
more creative control from the execs.
Yeah, her team does it. I don't know how big their team is, but I think they're shooting these videos with probably 3-4 people. You probably have like 2 cameras, and they probably are all running sound themselves. Maybe an assistant. I mean, maybe on a bigger shoot about 5 or 6, but like way leaner than a traditional like network
100%
show would shoot.
And they're probably all non-union. Freelance.
Yeah, especially in the YouTube space, when you're like, you got to make money or make a profit, you got to be lean.
But at the same time, like, there is no lack in quality.
There's another thing that stood out too, and I think the quality has evolved and what people are expecting on YouTube has evolved. Because I remember in an interview with MrBeast, I think it might have been the first Colin and Samir studio tour from like 2 or 3 years ago. He was like showing off the cameras and the gear and stuff. And this was MrBeast, when he's still like big YouTuber, but not like
an Amazon series.
Way before the Amazon series. Yeah. And he was like showing off the gear and stuff they shot on. And I remember he made a comment that was like, because I think he had like, Canon C300s or C400s like in the shelf in the back, and they were like talking about the gear, and he was like, we actually don't use that because we found like the better the production quality looked, it turned people off. Like they liked the more,
I think I've seen that.
They like the kind of more like, amateurish look.
Yeah, cell phone, handheld.
Yeah. And that was him maybe 2-3 years ago. I think that's evolved because he does like all of his videos now have like heavy visual effect. I think maybe the Squid Games was like a turning point where like he made the Squid Games knockoff video.
And the VFX artist is like, you need to shoot raw.
And actually with the Beast Games, I don't know how many cameras, but there was a post from Addy, and they used like 20 or 30 Addy Alexas to shoot the Beast Games. I'll show you we'll post this on the image,
awesome.
But they had like an army of like dozens of Addy Alexas.
That's like $100 million movie. level equipment.
And there's shots of like all of the army of camera people, like a full reality show, you know, shooting everyone's reaction, where it's like a whole wall of camera people, like everyone focused on like a different character. So that has definitely changed, but I think that's also just an indicator of how basically it's like a battle of like YouTube is becoming TV while TV is trying to become YouTube. And like what's gonna hit first. And I think right now YouTube becoming TV is winning the race for TV to be YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think TV will ever become YouTube, mainly because TV is a much slower moving beast. And by the time they adopt the YouTube language, the YouTube efficiency and the budgets, YouTube will have moved.
Yeah, and when they chill out with the content or the gear requirements or the spec requirements, like, yes, that's definitely needed at certain levels. But I think for other levels, having the specific requirements for like this camera, this format, this stuff, like slows things down. Yeah.
Also, I mean, I'll defend the TV and movie industry. They do cross the T's and dot the I's by hiring safety coordinators, you know, caterers, and like all there's like a whole slew of secondary production crews, and they want to prevent people from getting hurt and prevent people from sort of suffering on set, if you will.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean,
but then since YouTube productions are so lean, mean, and efficient, do you think they're doing all of those things sometimes? Probably.
I mean, there were reports with Beast Games of like crappy conditions and like crappy stuff coming out of that. I don't remember how if they like.
So I can't support productions that don't treat their staff well.
I mean, there is right, and you know, with like set hours and like not, you know, pushing people.
Yeah, unions exist for a reason.
Exactly. Yeah, this is like why they started in the first place. You don't push people to work 18-hour days because that's ridiculous. Exactly, and should not happen. Yeah, and you know, I'm sure we'll probably see something too of like, as this matures and this industry matures too, it's like, well,
creator economy guilds.
Yeah, 100%. You know, just like guaranteed rates and work rights and everything else that has already happened in the established.
And then by the time industry that matures, that creator economy matures into that, that's when they'll see sort of a slowdown in innovation, in the speed and efficiency.
So you think that's going to like churn it up? I mean, or
they'll just hit a point of maturity, like a valley, if you will.
I think that's happened a bit, even if you look at MrBeast, where he was originally doing like one video a week, and then it turned into like a video like every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, because it's like the production and the like elements and everything just got so much more complicated that you can't just keep cranking it out.
That's also at the highest level of YouTube, and then you go down to tier 2 creators. You know, somebody like Gox, you know, or Johnny Harris.
I mean, like a talking head video where it's like, you sit at the desk, you talk. That's a lot easier to
manage. I mean, MrBeast, those games are just insane anyway.
Yeah, and that's why they get the hits. He cracked the algorithm for that. Like, I'm happy that he became the most popular YouTuber, because I'm like, okay, it also kind of makes sense. Because I remember for a time when PewDiePie was the most popular one.
Yes.
And that never made sense to me, because I'm like, wait, he's just like sitting there talking at his camera at his desk like all day, every day.
Right.
And so at least MrBeast, I was like, okay, it's a spectacle.
There's a grandiose to it.
He like kind of figured out how to like make this bigger and better. Like every single time, it's like entertaining, it's interesting. So I was like,
I love that MrBeast is deserved American, because everything he does is so America, right? It's just big, bad, and just bigger than the last thing. And I don't think that level of success could have come from anywhere outside of this country.
We're going to give you an island.
It's like, what?
All right, and the last story tying into, you know, who wants to be YouTube versus TV first. Netflix, there's been some reports and stuff of like if they're dabbling with getting into podcasting or acquiring podcasters, or kind of going the Spotify route of where they acquired like Joe Rogan and Call Her Daddy. But they announced that they are doing a special with Kill Tony, which is an extremely popular comedy podcast.
Massive.
Yeah. But it seems like they're adapting it into a handful of specials. And so they're not like...
Is it live? It's got to be live.
I think it's live. Yeah. Like 3 live specials and a stand-up special.
I just missed John Mulaney live one. That's supposed to be a really good one on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. I missed that. Yeah. I missed that too.
I'll have to watch
check
it
that
in post.
But yeah, that ties into, I think, more of the same, like, will Netflix get into podcasting, video podcasting? Is this like another format they can get into that people would be interested in watching?
Yeah. I think this is more of a variety show. So this is maybe like evolution of Saturday Night Live, or, you know, the Conan O'Brien show, something like that. It's got a structure to it. Have you seen a Kill Tony?
I have not seen a Kill Tony.
Oh, dude, they're crazy. Don't watch it around kids. How about that? But it's a lot of fun. And the best part about Kill Tony is an amateur comedian gets their 10 seconds to be famous.
Okay.
So it's like, charitable in that way.
Yeah. Like you get your shot to like make an impression.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of famous comedians now have gotten their start on Kill Tony.
Okay. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. Do you think they would get into like more, acquiring traditional podcasters like
Netflix?
Netflix, if they would, yeah.
Like the one that I could see is like a Chris Williamson, like really well-produced video podcast, or Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett.
Right.
Like those guys would absolutely make sense for Netflix. Jay Shetty.
Denoised.
We're not there yet.
They want a tech-centric show. They could bring back Tech TV.
Hey.
Remember Tech TV?
No.
That was a cable network in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
I only remember True TV.
No, Tech TV, it became G4.
Oh, yes. I know.
It was G4. Preceded G4.
Gotcha.
It was originally G4. It was called Tech TV, and they had a show.
Attack of the Show.
They had a show called The Screensavers.
Okay.
And it was actually kind of like this. It was kind of like, it was like tech updates and stuff, in the 90s.
Dude, we have production quality for a small podcast. Come on, Netflix.
We can bring back Tech TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the examples of when Spotify did pay, like, was it Sirius that bought Caller and Addy for $125 million?
I believe it was Spotify.
I thought it was Spotify. Yeah, maybe it was Spotify. And then now same with Joe Rogan.
Now she has a dating show that she announced, Alex
Cooper.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's a Spotify.
No, I believe it's going to be on Netflix.
Like a podcast, or like a kind of like a doc series,
like what you would call quote unquote traditional reality dating show.
Yeah, but with the Spotify deals, and with Joe Rogan, it was like they put it on the platform and made it exclusive for a while.
Yes.
And then they loosened that up again.
So now that's on YouTube and Apple.
Yeah, and I think they realized it's just more profitable where it's like if they own the show and they just sell ads on it, it makes as much money than like having the exclusivity doesn't draw more subscribers than they could make if they just own the content and sold ads on it.
If they attach the Spotify name to a big podcast like Caller Daddy or Joe Rogan, that's the win right there. It doesn't matter how you consume it at that point.
Yeah, where it's like you produce it, it's your show.
Yeah.
And just like get it out there. The same thing with all what the streamers are discovering too, where it's like, we don't need to have the exclusive show on our platform.
Yep.
We can license it out, and it doesn't take away from like subscribers.
Yeah, and
more people see our stuff, and maybe they come to our platform anyways because we have the other seasons.
That's why a lot of the Disney content is back on Netflix now, right? They were exclusive with Disney Plus for a while, and they just realized we can't just like paywall this thing to death.
The more stuff spreads and people can see it, it's still just like makes everything better.
Everything goes to frictionless.
Yeah.
Like then that's like a Silicon Valley term, our apps on our MacBook or whatever, the way we consume content, the more frictionless, the better.
Yeah, pretty much it. Good deep dive into the creator economy. Always curious to see where this space goes. And also like as Hollywood pays more attention to it, and it kind of have these two separate, it was always like Hollywood and creator economy, but I feel like more and more it's overlapping.
It's overlapping, it's merging, and I think there is really savvy folks on both sides that see the value in each other. So I think over the course of the next few years, even with AI content creation, we're going to continue to see more of an amalgamation of all of it.
Yeah.
If you think that we should be successful creators in the creator economy, give us a like, give us a comment, give us some kind of love, and so the algorithm will boost us.
And links for everything we talked about are at the show notes at denoisepodcast.com, and you could also find all the links to subscribe to all the platforms right there. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode.
See ya.